Totara Springs lies in 90 acres of park and bushland near Matamata. Today, the venue is host to a special group of families from all over the country, enjoying one of the country's largest water slides. It's a typical Kiwi scene with kids that all seem to be perfectly happy and healthy. Kids like 6-year-old Dominique.
She was a really healthy, bouncing baby, did all the things that she was supposed to have done.
Then there's Nick, who like many 13-year-olds is full of energy and enthusiasm for anything physical. But Nick's body is not the same as any other 13-year-old.
He's had a lot of chronic damage and the joints are now damaged, and that's what's causing most of his pain at the moment.
Both Nick and Dominique are children who live with arthritis. Nick and Dominique live with a condition that affects over 1,000 children and young people in New Zealand at any one time.
Nick started with arthritis when he was 6 months old. Yeah, and he just started with lots of fevers, and we were told it was arthritis when he was 8 months old.
First noticed things were going a little bit haywire. She had been sort of unwell, had fevers, had a bit of a rash, but the thing that really triggered it off was she started complaining that it was painful to walk. She didn't want to stand, so we took her to the GP, and the GP pretty much said it was probably viral and to come back in a week's time if it still wasn't better.
We had test after test after test, blood tests, spinal taps, all sorts of things. They were treating him for dreadful diseases, and we just didn't know what it was. We were just, you know, really worried that it was something life-threatening, and then his joints started swelling up. We were in the right place at the right time with the right person, and she said, yeah, that's clearly arthritis, we'll start treating it now. And yeah, we were very lucky to get it diagnosed so early.
What Nick and Dominique have is called idiopathic juvenile arthritis, or JIA.
Juvenile meant children, that's right. And the word idiopathic means
we don't know why.
Exactly, don't know why we got arthritis.
Many of the other children here at the Arthritis New Zealand Children's Camp have the same condition.
It is a chronic disease that children get. Compared with other conditions, it is actually quite rare. I mean, it's, you know, about 1 in 1,000 children. People are always surprised that children have arthritis because it's always seen as a disease of the elderly. Often it's not recognised, and not just by, you know, general public, but by doctors as well. And so often children have had problems for a while before it ever becomes obvious.
For Mandy Wood, it was an agonising period before her 8-year-old daughter Rhiannon was finally diagnosed with arthritis.
At first there didn't seem to be any problems, and she did the normal things like running and jumping, and I was very keen for Rhiannon to do dancing, and she did do dancing for quite a number of terms. We started to notice that she was unable to do certain things that other children were able to do.
Well, I was probably 5 when I first felt the pain, and it was only a little bit sore, and the doctors didn't really notice.
I took her to the GP on a number of occasions, and it was difficult because the GP would say to me, look, I can't see anything wrong with the knee, I can't see any redness or swelling, I can't see any visible problems with it, there was no injury. And then all of a sudden it got so bad that she couldn't walk anymore.
Once when we were going to Crystal Mountain, I couldn't walk anywhere because of my joints. They were really hurting.
We got referred on to a rheumatologist. She couldn't see us for another month. By that stage we were so concerned with Rhiannon's limited ability to move that I went back to my GP and said, look, we can't see a rheumatologist for a month, and we're so concerned about Rhiannon. She's just not coping very well at all. She's having difficulty walking or doing anything. And she said, look, I'll ring up the hospital and we can see what we can do. And then a week later she got us an appointment at Starship in the rheumatology department, and we saw someone there, and she was diagnosed then when we took her with juvenile idiopathic arthritis.
Picture here.
Yep.
For many parents, the diagnosis is frightening.
You don't expect a child to have to go through that type of pain and limited range of movement. It's a big shock to think that your little child is going to have the same problems that an elderly person is going to have.
She has what's called systemic onset arthritis, which doesn't affect just one or two joints. It in fact affects lots and lots of different joints. So she had ankles, toes, knuckles, knees, elbows, wrists, neck. She actually walked very, very stiffly. She could not rotate her neck at all. She actually had to physically move her entire body. But with this systemic onset, it can also affect the internal things such as your liver, your spleen. It can also affect the linings around your heart and your gut and your lungs. So yeah, she pretty much had it everywhere.
More than 500,000 New Zealanders will be affected by arthritis at some time in their life. For young children living with juvenile arthritis, immediate treatment can dramatically improve their condition.
Treatment of juvenile arthritis has changed enormously in the last 5 to 10 years. Not just in terms of drug treatments, but in terms of how you physically treat the children as well. Probably in the last 5 to 7 years, some drugs known as biologic agents have become available. These are drugs which really get to the source of the problem in arthritis. They're not just analgesics or anti-inflammatories that settle the symptoms. They actually stop the arthritis progressing. So it's meant that these days the concept of a child having arthritis, needing joint replacement, ending up in a wheelchair, shouldn't happen.
The improvement that came about from the drugs she was given, the medication she was given, was instant, and we haven't had to see Rhiannon in that state. She's always had better movement and she's a way happier person and can do things that children should be able to do.
It's really good and I don't really feel any pain. Well, when I did have pain, I was really sad that I couldn't go on the trampoline because it's really, really fun.
Sandra Kirby from Arthritis New Zealand recognises the immense value of new medical treatments in allowing children to have an active lifestyle.
For most children, we will be able to find a treatment that works, if not overnight, kind of within weeks, not months or years. And the amazing thing about particularly those biologic treatments, although they are very, very expensive, and we acknowledge they're expensive, they stop the damage.
Arthritis New Zealand hosted a weekend of activities at Totara Springs Camp in Matamata for children who have juvenile arthritis.
Good girl, well done, Anna.
Many children with arthritis needn't give up sport or other forms of exercise, which in turn helps to prevent their symptoms from worsening.
This is the first time, specifically that a camp like this is being put together for the kids. So it's good for the kids and the parents to be together, creates that network of helping out in the communities because everyone's here from all over the country.
13-year-old Nick, who often finds it painful to walk, is not going to let his condition prevent him from taking a full part in all the activities on offer. Nick's younger sister Anna is also attending the camp and enjoying the activities.
He's adapted his life around it, so he's very sporty, he's very active. If he's doing too much, he knows that he'll pay for it the next day or he'll just stop midway and have a rest.
How was that, Nick?
Hurts.
Where's it hurt?
Side.
You enjoy it though?
Yeah.
For about half of children who get a diagnosis of JIA in their childhood, they will be symptom-free in their adulthood.
North Shore girl Anna Mortlock was diagnosed with arthritis at the age of 14. Dancing was all Anna dreamed of doing, but like 50% of people diagnosed with juvenile arthritis, the symptoms continued into adulthood.
And I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning and my ankle was the size of a rugby ball. We didn't know why. I'd been given the river dance video, which was cool back then, for Christmas, and they thought that I'd just been silly trying to imitate what was on the TV and done something to my ankle. But Dad took me to the A&E and that's when they said, oh, we actually think she's got juvenile arthritis, and that's where it was first picked up. I think I was quite shocked, I couldn't believe it. Isn't that what old people get? I just thought, oh, this is it. It's all over. not going to be able to dance anymore, nothing. And of course that's not the case, but at the time I just thought it was the end of my world, really.